got this one's kind of like
Flo, can you hear us here?
No, I know. That's why I'm doing it. That's why you're doing it. Oh, if she was here, I wouldn't be trying to get away with this. She'd smack me. 4 o'clock?
Just. Good afternoon, everyone. The January 27th, 2026 regular council meeting is called to order at 4 o'clock. Council would like to acknowledge the Ucluelet on whose traditional territories the District of Ucluelet operates. Audience members and delegates are advised that this proceeding is being video recorded and broadcast on YouTube and Zoom, which may store data on foreign servers. There are no late items. So I will move that the January 27th, 2026 regular council meeting agenda be adopted as presented. Do I have Councillor Anderson seconds? All in favor? None opposed? That carries. Do we have Councillor Mafty on the line?
So he's going to be 10 minutes late.
He said that yesterday.
Oh, did he? Oh.
All right, there's one set of meeting minutes for adoption. Are there any errors or omissions?
10 late.
Any errors or omissions? Seeing none, I will move that the minutes of January 13th, 2026 regular council meeting be adopted as presented.
I'll second that.
Councillor Anderson seconds. All in favor? None opposed? That carries. Is there any unfinished business? Seeing none, there are 3 bylaw items on the agenda today. The first bylaw is titled Subdivision Control Amendment Bylaw Number 1389, 2025 adoption due to a clerical error, and it will be presented by Tyler Brown, the Director of Planning and Strategic Initiatives.
Thank you. Thank you, and good evening, Mayor, and good evening, Council. This item is back before you because I made a mistake when I was ripping the PDF and getting it over to our corporate services, and I didn't notice that the attachment never converted into the PDF. So apologies, but that bylaw came forward and is essentially invalid based on our legal advice here. The procedure is in the agenda to essentially rescind and then adopt again, just to make sure that the bylaw adoption is procedurally valid.
Great, thank you for that explanation. Any questions for staff? No, there are 2 recommendations.
I can do that.
Councillor Anderson.
I will move the council rescind resolution number 2026.004, which adopted District of Ucluelet Subdivision Control Amendment Bylaw number 1389, 2025, passed at the January 13th, 2026 regular council meeting.
Councillor Noel seconds. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? None opposed. That carries.
I will further move that District of Ucluelet Subdivision Control Amendment Bylaw number 1389, 2025 be adopted.
I'll second that.
Councillor Noel seconds. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? None opposed. That carries. The next bylaw is titled Zoning Amendment Bylaw Number 1383, 2025 for 1910 Bay Street, Alliance Holdings. And it will be presented by Tyler Brown, Director of Planning and Strategic Initiatives.
Thank you, Mayor. I think Council is very familiar with this. This is the formal introduction of the bylaw to address this longstanding concern, followed by a development variance permit, followed by a license of occupation. Sort of a cumbersome legal process here to acknowledge and allow these longstanding units to exist in their current location.
Can I just interact for 1 second? Did we miss 7.2?
I think I skipped that one. Sorry, I'll go back to
I
that.
wasn't doing on purpose there. Okay,
No,
that's fine.
no, it's my
Okay.
my mistake.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I thought I had misordered it, so I was
No, go
flipping
ahead.
there. But just assumed I made the mistake, so here we go. Yeah, so this one, council is quite familiar with it. This is the legal mechanisms are recommended to us through consultation with the lawyers. This approach is taken, especially with the variance, to allow the sort of permanency of these units, these historic units, but not to fortify them in zoning, their location in zoning. So acknowledging that at some point, they're like all the life cycle of any building, they will be removed and move towards conformity. Happy to answer any questions, but like I said, I think you're very familiar with this one, and just want to thank the work of the planning department and the property owners to very collaboratively work together to try to get to a solution on this one.
Great, thank you again. Questions for Mr. Brown?
No questions. I just thank you. This has been something I've been at the table for 12 years, and all your predecessors have bounced it around. I'm delighted how fast that you're able to get this to a place where the property owners are finally feel like they've been heard. This has been there's been some lots of dialogue with no action, and I think Mr. Brown, you're welcome addition to the community of seeing the problem, executing it quickly, and finding resolve. Honestly, this has been going on for decades. It just speaks volumes how you're looking at things in your team. So. Before we get carried away, I just think that you've done this so these guys can find other things to talk about. It's gone on way too long, and thank you for executing it.
Thank you, Councillor. And I would just acknowledge that I'm just here presenting, and a lot of the heavy lifting and hard work has been done by others, and up until very recently as well. So thank you. I'll pass those comments on.
And just for clarification, this will now allow those homeowners to do repairs to their homes without going to the Board of Variance, right?
That is correct, Mayor.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. There are 6 recommendations.
I'll move them just because.
Sure.
I'll move that the District of Hewlett zoning amendment bylaw number 1383 2026 be read for the first time.
I'll second that.
Councillor Anderson seconds. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? None opposed. That carries.
I also move that District of Hewlett zoning amendment bylaw number 1383 2026 be read a second time.
I'll second.
Councillor Anderson seconds. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? None opposed. That carries.
I also move that District of Hewlett zoning amendment bylaw number 1383 2026 be read a third time.
I'll second that.
Councillor Anderson seconds. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? None opposed. That carries.
Also move that the District of Hewlett zoning amendment bylaw number 1383 2026 be adopted.
I'll second.
Councillor Anderson seconds. Any further discussion? All in favor? None opposed. That carries.
Move that council authorize the Director of Planning and Strategic Initiatives to execute and issue development variance permit 25-07.
I'll second.
Councillor Anderson seconds. And Mr. Brown, can you just explain what that development variance permit is?
Thank you, Mayor. The variance permit essentially allows the siting of the units that are within the setback, within their location, giving them a certain amount of assurance that, yes, there's legality to them. They can do the renovations as you were just talking about and questioning about there previously. So it's just we put the zoning in place, or you just put the zoning in place, and this variance just allows the units within the setback. And I would just note procedurally, we do need to give space just if there's anybody that does wish to speak to the variance.
Before we adopt it?
Before adopt, correct.
Okay. Does anyone have any comments that they would like to state regarding the development variance permit? Should I ask online as well?
They're doing online.
Nobody? All right, so it's been moved and seconded. All in favor? None opposed. That carries.
Lastly, the council approved the District of Hewlett to enter into a license of occupation agreement with the Alliance Holdings Limited for portions of Bay Street, and that the mayor and corporate officer be authorized to execute the license of occupation.
Do I have a seconder?
Second.
Councillor Anderson seconds. Any further discussion?
I won't, no discussion on my end, but this one's always sort of perplexed me as to why it took so long to do this. And I know you're being humble, Mr. Brown, but I think, your leadership on this one has been terrific. And I know you have a great team with you as well. But this was such a great, like, bang bang, like a solution after solution after solution for things that have just been getting caught in our wheels for a long time, and for something that actually, for all intents and purposes, represents a perfect example of affordable housing. And I think allowing you to do what you need to do down there moving forward is it just makes sense. So it really feels good to wrap this one up in the way that you have. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor, and I will pass that on to the folks that did a lot of the work on this one. Thank you.
Excellent. All right, it's been first and seconded. All in favor? None opposed. That carries.
Nice.
Nice. Congratulations, you guys.
Timmermans, what are you guys going to talk about at the dinner table now? Like, honestly, like you guys are going to have so much headspace. Yeah, good for you guys. Anyway, thanks for your patience, and that's a big win. No thanks for that.
And you don't have to stay for the whole rest of the meeting if you don't want to. All right, now we'll go back to 7.2. Sorry about that. District of Ucluelet Zoning Amendment Bylaw number 1388, 2025, third reading and adoption, and it will be also presented by Tyler Brown, Director of Planning and Strategic Initiatives.
Thank you, Mayor. This was one of the 3 zoning amendment bylaws that came forward in December as part of the Housing Accelerator Fund, or the half the items that we'd committed through the grant program of having council consider. Unlike the other 2 where you council granted 3 readings, there was 2 readings granted to this one because there was some concerns raised by property owners with respect to if it was a little too rigid and if they would be able to have family members on the property. So we took a look at that, made sure that we didn't see any issues from our end. So we've amended the bylaw, and that's what's in your agenda package tonight. Amendment's actually quite simple. It just makes it very clear that one dwelling unit can be used for residential purposes for the landlord. We make no distinction on if that's the owner, if that's a family member. But then upon taking a look as well, we thought there could be scenarios in which, of course, you have a landowner living on site, but they might not be the caretaker. So for additional flexibility, we added in some clarity there that also you can have one unit for caretaker. I did email both the individuals that had raised concerns. I never heard anything back, so I can't tell you if they're in favor or in opposition to this. But from our perspective, we believe that it addresses the concerns and also allows us to meet the commitments that the HAF program is asking for.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. So at the moment, this bylaw affects 3 properties, correct?
That is correct. 1332 Eber Road, 1398 Helen Road, and 1450 Short Road.
But this bylaw will also be in effect for any future apartment buildings like this. Is that correct? If
someone is looking to rezone their property and they wanted to do rental specific zoning, this zone would exist for them to rezone to. There's been some other instances as well recently where we have rezoned to rental only properties. The most sort of the greatest magnitude of that would have been at 221 Minato Road.
Right. Any questions for staff? We have 2 recommendations, and they should be read separately.
Okay. I'll move the District of Ucluelet Zoning Amendment Bylaw number 1388, 2025 be read a third time as amended.
I'll second that.
Councillor Anderson seconds. Any further discussion?
Just echo, thanks for making those changes. I think it just gives some freedom and some opportunities to those property owners. So thank you for wording it like that.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? None opposed, that carries.
I also move that District of Hewlett zoning amendment bylaw number 1388-2025 be adopted.
Second that.
Councillor Anderson seconds. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? None opposed, that carries.
Can I jump in on one?
Councillor Anderson,
I
sure.
just thank you again. I know that this is another example of something that, like the agility that you had on this one, because this one came in fast just before Christmas there, and then I know that the people that I got a chance to talk to two of the folks that were involved, and it made sense. And then I mean, we were talking to yourself and staff and Richard and Mr. Harding, and this change was made. This was perfect. I think this is such a good example of a balance between satisfying those half requirements that we need to continue that funding, but this just makes sense, and I realized where it was coming from. Everyone's heart was in the right place. We just needed to make a little tweak there, and it happened so quickly. So again, really appreciate that. That's great. Thank you.
Okay, and so we're on to reports. There is one report on the agenda. The report is titled Zoning Amendment for 1797 Rainforest Lane, and it will also be presented by Tyler Brown, Director of Planning and Strategic Initiatives.
Thank you, Mayor. This property, 1797 Rainforest Lane, had initially come in for subdivision. Upon review of the subdivision, it was identified by the planner managing the file that in order to proceed, it would require a zoning amendment to allow a smaller parcel size. Upon review of the OCP goals, which is where we look to when there's a zoning amendment is to be considered, there is sort of general support within the policy statements within the OCP. This would essentially allow the property to create two small parcels if it does proceed. Currently is just under 2,300 square meters. The proposal would have that and have two parcels, approximately 1,140 square meters. The existing zoning is a comprehensive development area, which was brought in for that neighborhood. Upon review, the preliminary review that we would do sort of the due diligence for any application. There's no real concerns around any servicing implications. Obviously, those would be refined through subdivision, but at this stage, there's nothing to give us pause. The only item there is that due to limited access area, there would need to be a shared access easement if the subdivision did proceed. Not typical, but something that can easily be accommodated through the subdivision. Because it is residential, those recent provincial legislative changes prohibit us from holding a public hearing, but it does require it to give us notice of first reading, and that is the direction before you tonight. There was significant emails sent into the community inbox, and those should have been distributed to council for your consideration. If council does grant the staff recommendation, it would simply be notice of first reading, and those bylaws would be brought back to council for complete consideration. So there's no approval on the agenda here tonight, and this is really seeking council's endorsement for providing that notification for first reading. Happy to answer any questions, but of course, if council does advance this, a more robust planning report would come forward with the appropriate zoning amendment bylaws for council's consideration.
All right, thank you, Mr. Brown. Questions for staff? Sure, go ahead. Oh, yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
I just had a quick question. Do that after the subdivision? I can't remember if I'd read that or not. Do the setbacks change significantly with the subdivision?
So if the parcel was subdivided, The setbacks would remain the same, with the exception now there would be a new interior lot line, and the houses on each of the newly created lots would need to also be set back from that. So setbacks would remain the same, but there would just be a new lot line now that would need to be considered for the site layout.
Right. All right, thank you.
And and so with with the setbacks, because it's an odd shaped property, would there actually be room for 3 buildings? Because it looks like 1 building on one half and 2 buildings on the other half. I guess it depends on the size
our
of the
preliminary
building.
review. Obviously there would be less footprint area for each building, but on preliminary review we don't see any hang-ups that would prevent a building envelope. It would definitely influence the size of dwelling that could be built, of course. The only one item there would be the access, just because they would so narrow, there would need to be a shared access agreement, so there would only be one driveway.
Okay, thank you. And I'm a little unclear if this property is subdivided, is one of those parcels going to be sold, or is the owner going to develop both? Do you know the answer to that one?
We do not know, and typically, even if we do know, we don't. It's never something we hang our hat on because conditions can always change, and I would hate to say something to council based on information and just have it not be true even months later.
Thanks for that. Questions, comments?
I have no objections to what I see here.
We received 7 or 8 letters from neighbors that had some issues. But this, if we give first reading, this just allows the planning department to give notice to neighbors to respond with their comments. Correct?
Yes, Mayor, and it wouldn't even be first reading tonight. Simply notice of first reading. So the bylaws would come back to council. There would be that notice of first reading is really intended because the legislation has changed and no public hearing. That notice of first reading is really intended to have folks the opportunity to at least have some input and get, and that's already occurred. But also at first reading, we would hope that whether in support, whether in opposition, or whether neutral, people are making their voices heard to council, so you can weigh the technical aspects, which is the planning report and the OCP amendments, but also with that community input in your decision making.
Okay, thanks for that clarification. Councillor Mafty, anything from you?
First of all, my apologies for being late, and thank you for letting me join remotely. I would only comment that, and this is primarily directed at the people that wrote in, that I think that there's real value in moving forward, just to make sure that everyone has an opportunity for their comments to be heard and considered. So I'd certainly be all right moving this forward. I don't have any personal issues here, but I want to make sure that the forum is open for people to comment. So I would support moving forward on this.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Mafty. Anything else from you, Councillor Anderson? No?
I don't think so. I think no.
Okay, so there is one recommendation, if anyone would like to read it.
Yeah, I can read it. I think it makes sense just to move this forward so we can at least get it out and have a broader conversation with the neighbors, and everyone gets a chance to take a look at it. And all right, so I'll move that council direct staff to give notice of first reading to District of Ucluelet zoning amendment bylaw number 1393 2026.
I would second that.
Councillor Noel seconds. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? None opposed, that carries. Thank you. Are there any notices of motion? Seeing none, there is one correspondence item on the agenda. It's titled Statistics Canada regarding Stats Canada is hiring across Canada for the 2026 census. This is a census year, and I just thought I would add this to the agenda just to let people know that they are looking to hire in all communities. So it's a great little part-time job for anybody looking for some work. All right. Mayor's announcements and council committee reports. I don't have any announcements, so we'll move into committee reports. Councillor Anderson?
Yeah, not too much to talk about. I had a meeting with the Alberni-Clayoquot Health Network on the 21st, and that was the first meeting after the Christmas break. So that was great. We ended up getting conversations about supporting the different networks, I guess, in Port Alberni and regionally. So that we talked about transportation, getting people to their appointments and their medical appointments. So that's obviously, there's a real uptick in that. That's been on the agenda for a really long time. So that's working great. And Brooke Wood gave us an update on what's happening with like primary care right now and how things are working with the new building, but no real update on what's going to happen with the potential new Tofino hospital. So that's what I was grilling her about that, but I didn't get anywhere. And other than that, I had a meeting with Kylie McKenna, which was New Leaf Farms, to talk about vertical farming and potentially getting a produce, essentially a greenhouse in town. There's quite a few grants that, if we could set that up, it's a affordable, high quality food that we could potentially do. So I had that call, and I guess we'll be following up on that one. And then the last one was, we did a tour. When was the tour? Friday. Last Friday, yeah, with Rising Tide Boatworks, which was really neat. They're coming along out there. So that's, for those who don't know, that's the folks who bought what was the old Trappa seafood processing plant and is now going to be used for vessel electrification, so converting boats or making boats that are electric powered. And one of the really neat parts of that was the first boat they're going to do is going to be the Nootka Princess, they owned by Caleb and Ryan Cameron. So that'll be pretty neat to see that, and it's gonna put us on the map for vessel electrification. But that's it for me.
Great. Thank you, Councillor Anderson. Councillor Hoare is not with us today. Councillor Mafty, are there icebergs where you are right now?
A few, yes. Joining you from South Georgia Island. Unfortunately, I'm away from my beloved Ucluelet, and so I don't have much to report on as far as participating in any local events. So that's it for me for now.
All right. We'll look forward to having you back.
I will look forward to being back.
Councillor Noel?
I have nothing to report.
We need to get you on some committees, I think. All right, for myself, January 14th, I attended the Alberni-Clayoquot Regional District Board meeting on Zoom. Not much to do with West Coast issues, but we do have a West Coast Committee meeting coming up mid-February, so we'll be addressing a number of West Coast issues there. In one of them will be interesting, the bus service in Millstream will be on that agenda. January 16th, I went to Neptune Ice and was on Czech News regarding the foreshore leases that have gone up exponentially, and so don't know where that's going to end up, but gave it my best shot anyway. January 21st was a Tourism Ucluelet Board meeting over at Blackrock, and they are looking for 3 new board members. I think we have a couple that have been nominated already, but there's a 6-year sort of term where if you're a board member, you time out and you have to take a year off. And so we have 3 of our board members that are in that position right now. So if anyone's interested, if you're in the tourism business, put your name forward to be on the board of directors. January 23rd was the tour of Rising Tide Boatworks. And then last night we had our budget meeting here, followed by an open house to the public. Just wondering, Mr. Cadman, how the turnout was for the open house.
I think we received between 15 to 20 people in that range. So less than last year, but still a decent amount.
But more than some years.
More than some years.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for your efforts on doing all the boards and stuff for the open house. All right, we're now moving on to question period. This is an opportunity for the public to ask questions and comment on matters within council's jurisdiction. Representations about bylaws that council is prohibited from holding a public hearing on, or bylaws that were subject to a public hearing, are not permitted at this time. Are there any audience members that wish to address council? Yes, if you could. Mr. Brown, could you check that microphone's on, please? Thank you.
Okay, so I don't need to do anything. Yeah? Okay. Cheers. Thank you very much, all of you on council, for allowing me this question period. Also, we meet on a very significant day. It's the, as you all know, the International Holocaust Remembrance Day, and it behoves us to think about any genocides around the world that are occurring and how we respond to them.
Could you just give your name and address, please?
Sorry.
That's
I should know.
Yeah, by now.
S. Fuller, 477 Marine Drive.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. I should be an old hand at this, right? Okay, so as you will know, and of course, Councillor Noah was joking with me when he said all these, letters and stuff. I hope they weren't too burdensome. And just to recap, it was one email saying, could you please revisit the support for the occupied Gaza and the occupied territories. Then one which I came across on Sunday when I asked one of my former clients to actually see if he was going on about artificial intelligence, if he could actually put it in the system. He did, and he came up with the support, the reasons why one should support, Palestine right now are huge, was hugely comprehensive, profound, and I thought it would be useful for you to have. And then today, of course, I sent you something because it's International Holocaust Remembrance Day. Survivors are underscoring the fact that we should never let it happen again, and there should be no genocide and atrocities anywhere. So those were basically the three things that I put out there. So I don't want to go over things that I've given you in correspondence because I know how valuable your time is. So what I thought I would do is respond to some of the things that I heard yesterday. One of the things I want to apologize for, you've heard my phone, ping a couple of times. All of those have been from people wishing me good luck, many of them who are Ucluelet residents. So there is a support here, and and a growing support for any initiative to support, the occupied territories. So there's that, and then I also think that I want to what would be deal with counterfactuals and any of the questions that maybe come up for people. So yesterday it was one of those strange days at the brewery. Not that the brewery is strange, but the kitchen was closed and there were a couple of people sitting there, and they knew that I was going to be coming to revisit it, ask you to revisit my proposal. And it was interesting to hear what they were saying, whether they supported it, what their concerns were. So I want to quickly run through a couple of things that were said. The one question was why? If you've been turned down, are you doing it again? Of course, you all know it's got a whole lot worse than it was when I last presented. And the other thing is that there are now more and more people supporting in Palestine, and whether they are actors, whether they are celebrity leaders, but it gives us all another space to think the issue. So that's why I'm continuing, because I get I hope that the feeling might be there among the members of the council that they might want to rethink it as well. The other thing I want to mention that I told people is I don't want to get stuck on whether it's a twinning, whether it's a sister, whether it's a brother link, but rather to focus on an act of solidarity. The 3 other BC councils that have voted in, or in the process of voting for support for the occupied territories, have all done something a little different, or in the process of doing something different. So I don't want it to get bogged down in, what did Nanaimo do about this. Then the other thing that came up was, well, what do you think, and I don't think this, do you think that the council members maybe are somewhat reluctant to support this issue because they might have political ambitions to go on and do something else? And I immediately said, I'm sure that's not the case. I know these are to be honourable men and women, and I would hope that they would not use this as a stepping stone. And anyway, I added that if anything, if someone had political ambitions, one would be far better placed to vote for this rather than not to vote for it. Then the other person said, what about other initiatives, like, plebiscites and that kind of thing? And the answer to that is, I just don't have I've given lots of time to this, but I don't have the financial resources to do something like that, or even a petition. I had a lot of my assets taken from me in out of a relationship, so I am having to be fairly careful. So that's why I can't think of anything else that I could put forward as something that is being done. That said, I have been involved with 2 other initiatives. One was to get people to donate to the surfers in Gaza City, and the other one, which has been very successful, is to ask companies, eateries and stores here to bring in Palestinian items so that they can help besieged farmers in the West Bank, and that's been very successful. Colette, who owns Blackberry Cove Market, has brought in her 5th shipment, so that has been wonderful. And I also want to just say that on top of her responding to my ask in October, she's actually bringing it in at cost. So wonderful shop always, and especially now to be supported. So I think that's basically, if we've done all the research, I've done it, you've done it, maybe we've got all that information, then it's not a question of needing more information. It's a question of feeling the moral urge or to support what's going on. And I just think it'd be a wonderful opportunity for this inspirational village that gets so many other things right, like as we've heard, to get the moral right as well. I have never in my adult life, and I can say this without any sense of contradiction, ever turned away from injustices that I've seen on an individual level or as a student or whatever, and I want that to continue to be true, and I want it especially to be true, one, because it'll be effective in helping people in Palestine, but on top of that, that my 2 grandchildren are able to look and see on the record where I stood and where they stood. I've donated for them. I've given them olive oil so that they can have that in their memory legacy. So thank you again. I also want to mention that my friend and fellow supporter here said that if you want to, I asked him if you want to talk with him personally, he'd be happy to do that. Of course, one of the reasons why people who have family in Palestine often can't say things is because there can be repercussions. And I don't, all of us, we don't have the fear of repercussions here, even though I hope you won't ban me from meetings in the future for nagging you. No, not nagging you, nagging's the wrong word, for pushing so hard. So thank you. Do I switch this off or leave it on?
No, you can leave it on.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks for your comments.
Okay.
Did you have something to say? Okay, sure. Go ahead.
No, thank you for that. I think for myself, I was sitting in this chair in lovely July. I think it was my first meeting. I'm new to the crowd here. I was probably. I think we all took the high road, so I'm going to just speak as a rogue counselor here. When you see what's happening in Palestine from July to today, I think things are substantially different, and for me, I think that this is just a simple an ask of support of what's going on in Palestine. And watch the news for 5 minutes, and you see what's going on in the background. There's nothing left, and what's going on in the globe. I think there comes a point where even small municipalities need to kind of take a lens of where we stand. I think we all probably vote different colors on federally or provincially, but I think we can all agree that what's going on there is not right. You shared a couple stories earlier, and I respect the fact you don't want your name out, but when I sit here and not because you sent endless emails and text messages, at the end of the day, you're doing the right thing, and I think I appreciate that. I think a lot of us do, and I don't think there's much to be asked here. This is a letter supporting that, however one wants to word it. So I know we're not supposed to make decisions here, but I just want to really express my thoughts on this. The fact is, we eventually, as a council, there's nothing to writing letters. It doesn't cost us anything other than send them in time for 2 hours and bringing it back before us. Whether it's Palestine or whether it's fishing that they're cutting down, that they're stopping on the West Coast, we as a group here need to start, probably do a little bit better job on sending letters. And so this is something for me. I think that maybe at the next council meeting I'll come back with something, but I think we need to do something. Having her walk out the door and go back and have her olive oil and wonder if there's more that we could do. There is. It's a simple letter saying that, I could ask you all individually having a beer, not that I drink, but the reality is I don't think we tolerate what's going on there. And I think that's all she's asking is a letter of that, whether we're twin cities or not twin cities. I think that we just kind of, it doesn't matter what the people that work for us think that we should do. It's what the five of us think we should do. And this is a simple one. And I think it's embarrassing that if we can't, really just say we don't agree what's going on in another part of the world, we're going to need to do that because it's starting to come closer to our shorelines here. Some of this injustices that are going on in the world. So I think us as a group, the five of us, I'll come back in the next council meeting with something with a couple of different ideas. I think this is an easy win. You see they're wearing the colors and stuff. So I don't want to shoo you off. I get you. I wasn't listening much in July. When I showed up, I had different agendas in my head sitting at this table. But this is an easy win. I think in the last 7 or 8 months, things have definitely changed over there. There's nobody in this room that would agree with what we see going on in the news is acceptable. So the next council meeting, I'll bring it to you guys for discussion. So thanks for letting me make my points.
Thanks, Councillor Noel. Any other comments, Councillor Anderson, Councillor Mafty? We're good with Councillor Noel coming with some ideas for us.
I'll pipe in very briefly. I'm deeply interested in what happens around the world. I read the news. I think about it a lot. I get into it. I go down rabbit holes. Traveling the world, I feel like I'm exposed to a lot of different things that are happening. The bottom line for me, and this isn't meant in any negative way, I feel like I ran for council to focus on Ucluelet's issues and to put my energy towards issues that matter for people who live in Ucluelet. I understand that that's a pretty small world, and maybe it's just a reflection of how much I've got going on in my life. But as far as compartmentalizing, I feel like I tend to focus on what's happening locally to residents of Ucluelet. So I have my own personal thoughts and feelings about what's happening in the rest of the world. I'm just not it's not clear to me yet how much overlap and connection there is between what's happening in Ucluelet and what's happening in Gaza. And if it's as easy as saying, well, this is how I feel about an issue, I'm perfectly comfortable sharing my thoughts and feelings. If the question is, well, how can we make a meaningful difference? I think that's a separate discussion. So those are my thoughts. I'm open to hear more, but I feel like my time and energy is best focused on what's happening in Ucluelet. So I'm not entirely sure what we can actually accomplish beyond commiserating, and maybe there's value in that.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Mafti. You're good, Councillor Anderson?
We're all set. Settle down. Yeah, no, I agree with both of you. I think Councillor Noel made great points, and I pretty much say the same thing. I mean, I don't think it's a big deal to write a letter of support, and I also agree with Councillor Mafti in the fact that our purview or our job, to me, it seems is the taxpayers are paying for us to be here and make decisions on their behalf, and it takes a lot of time and focus to do that. So sometimes getting into like a bigger picture, it can be a little bit sort of off the side of our table. So and to reel that in, sometimes we have to wonder like how do we do that? And I think a letter works great. I think I would also encourage you to talk to provincial and federal. So our MP. Gord Johns would be a great person. Yeah, so he can make definitely bigger waves than we can here. But
no pun intended.
No, yeah, we some pretty good waves right now. But yeah, I guess the idea is, there's not a ton that we can do, but it wouldn't be a lot of skin off our nose to do that letter of support, like you're saying, and then I think we're going to see. MP Johns pretty soon, so we can actually maybe push that letter on to him and see what he thinks.
I see his name on your emails, so we know that you know that he knows. Nobody can hear you on Zoom if you're there.
It doesn't matter. It's just for people that may want to watch it later.
Yep. Yep. So if there's, yeah.
Next time, sit right beside me.
Okay. I wanted to eyeball you.
Yeah, I know. You put me on the spot.
I just want to remind you of some of the discussions we've had and some of the material I've sent. There is a history of villages supporting all sorts of things, so that it's not that they don't take a narrow view. So I don't think that one necessarily has to feel that this is not UK business. I mean, there were villages in France that supported and saved Nazi victims, and in addition, there are 3 other, as I said, but I want to just underscore that there are 3 other places, also tax funded, also councils that are actually supporting this in one way or another, right? So it's not that bizarrely out there. Thank you.
Thanks for your comments. All right, who do we have next? Your name and address, please.
Hi, my name is Iman Makaramit. I live at 1796 Rainforest Lane, very next to the lots that we just talked about on the Rainforest Lane. I wrote this with the perspective of reading it before you making a call, but I'm going to read it anyways. Skip the parts that are about you haven't made a decision yet. Dear Mayor and the Council, we are respectfully asking you to abandon this amendment and not proceed to first reading. And since you are going to the first reading, we respectfully ask to still abandon this proposal. We are genuinely confused as to why this proposal is being considered. Rainforest Loop was zoned for single-family homes for a reason, as part of a broader and intentional community plan. This proposal does not align with that plan. The lot in question is one of the smallest on Rainforest Loop. it is also a difficult site to build on due to its slope. We know this firsthand as the direct neighbors. Halving the slot and then proposing multi-unit housing on each half is not reasonable. It's trying to force a square peg into a round hole. The plans represented are widely out of scale. The proposed new lot line does not even show the setbacks. We actually came up and talked about that wasn't mentioned, which existing city bylaws would clearly require. That alone should be a red flag. Having a small lot and doubling the number of buildings is not a sustainable or sensible way to develop a neighborhood. 5 or 6 units would realistically mean at least 6 or more vehicles. There is no room for the buildings, let alone the associated vehicles on site. And if you remember, the section that each neighbor has with the road there is very tiny. It's like every neighbor has just a driveway with a small buffer on the sides. So all these cars are going to be parked in front of other neighbors' buildings and houses. Catching up here. This is a family-oriented area of Ucluelet. Many families here have young children. The road is already narrow and challenging to drive or cross, with no capacity to accommodate this level of additional street parking. The affordability argument does not hold either. The lot was purchased for $219,000 in 2020 and listed for $650,000 just 3 years later. This is triple the price, the purchase price. And realistically, the buyer did not pay in cash with a typical 20% down payment. All of this comes into 10 times the initial investment in just 3 years. So attaching any clause in terms of making this affordable does not align with the intentions that we see in the pricing. Local buyers were priced out with this single move, and we know some of them. If affordability is truly the goal, this proposal does not achieve it. If long-term housing is truly the concern, there is a far simpler and lower risk solution. The city could exempt the existing short-term rental on the same lot and permit it for long-term residential use. That would immediately add housing without rezoning, without subdivision, without adding traffic, and without setting a precedent that undermines the community plan. And finally, this application is already flagging financial. If the applicant is already flagging financial concerns, significantly increasing the scope and complexity of the project is not the solution. We have already seen this play out locally. The very neighboring First Light project had to remove multiple units from the affordable housing clause due to construction costs. And many of our neighbors had to adjust their original plans due to the rising costs as they built. We are all also still living with a very real reminder of stalled development in the form of the formerly planned medical center on Marine Drive and Rainforest Drive. So there is nothing to gain here, honestly, just only risks. And we respectfully ask the council to uphold the existing zoning, respect the community plan, and abandon this amendment. And thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Iman, for your comments. Would anyone else in the audience like to speak?
I'm Claudine Bradley, and I'm at 1727 Rainforest Lane. And I'm just curious from a process standpoint when we talk about this application, and I've heard reference to changes that now prohibit public hearings. If someone could speak to how do residents, long-term residents, actually have their voices heard beyond a simple letter, which can only signal superficial concerns, as opposed to actually getting into the depth and the breadth of the concerns that this community has. Can someone illuminate that process now? It sounds like we've had some
Yeah, this really isn't a question and answer period. It's just for us to hear your comments. So if you'd like to reach out to the planning department with those concerns, I'm sure Mr. Brown would be happy to talk to you.
Okay, thank you.
Do you mind if I jump in? I realize it's not a question and answer period, but can I give you an answer in 30 seconds?
Go ahead, Councillor Mafty.
Okay, so I understand that you came here to ask a question and you want specific details on a specific issue, and I'm not going to give you that, so I apologize ahead of time. Number one, regarding the public hearings, that was a step that council discussed in great detail over a lengthy period of time, and the number one priority there was to empower council and district staff to make decisions more efficiently. And that was a direct response to an issue that we identified that's been identified in communities all around the province. How can we move forward quickly? How can we cut down on red tape? How can we streamline the process? Any email that is sent to the district to forward to council, we all read it. Anything that's sent to me, I reply. I see replies from other councillors as well. I think we're all extremely receptive and we all make time to answer the questions that we have. And I feel that specific issues that come up that are not subject to public hearing, there's still an opportunity for people to make their voices heard. So this issue in particular that passed the first reading, that's not one and done and now we move on. There will be another opportunity to solicit and to receive public input. So I really hope that you don't feel that you've been disenfranchised or that your comments aren't being heard. Two different things are happening. We're trying to streamline a process, and completely outside of that, we're also willing to listen and to discuss with anyone and everyone. I hope that's some consolation for having sat through the meeting, and if that's useful, great, and if it's not, I'm sorry.
And the streamlining is in a large part due to the province regulating municipal councils. And so they're the ones that said under these certain set of circumstances, there will be no public hearing held. So our hands are somewhat tied in that regard as well. But tonight, giving the notice of first reading gives the planning department a chance to put a more fulsome package together and to inform the neighbors. And I printed out all 8 letters that I received yesterday and today, so they do get read, believe me, if that helps. Anyone else in the audience wish to speak? Okay, are there any members of the public attending by Zoom or telephone?
Barb, you good?
Oh, Barb? You need to wave your hand a little faster.
Barbara Schramm, 1958 Bay Street, and I just want to go on record thanking Mayor, Council, and staff for approving our rezoning, and we look forward to signing the subsequent documents very gratefully. Thank you.
Thanks, Barb. This has been going on for as long as I've been on council, and beyond that, I'm sure. So it's great. Just 26 years. Oh, okay. Thanks for your comments. Anyone attending by Zoom or telephone that wishes to address council?
No one.
No. And have we received any subsequent emails to communityinput@ucluelet.ca? No. Okay. So I will move that the January 27th, 2026 regular council meeting be closed to the public pursuant to the following sections of the community charter. 90(1)(a), personal information about an identifiable individual who holds or is being considered for a position as an officer, employee, or agent of the municipality or another position appointed by the municipality. 90(1)(c), labor relations or other employee relations. 90(1)(e), the acquisition, disposition, or expropriation of land or improvements, if the council considers that disclosure could reasonably be expected to harm the interests of the municipality. And I think that's it. So that will be at 4:59.
Can you just read that?
None opposed, that carries. Thank you.